As the Iran war enters its third month and faces mounting unpopularity from the American people and ushers in rising gas prices for the American people, Donald Trump's two sons, who are not particularly extraordinary in very many ways that are obvious to us on the outside, they do seem to be making an extraordinary profit from Trump's second term. Bloomberg reports this, quote, the U.S. Air Force agreed to buy an undisclosed number of interceptor drones from a company backed by Donald Trump's sons, according to the firm, quote, rather than pursuing an initial public offering, PowerUs is planning to merge with Eris Greenway Holdings, a golf course operator backed by the Trumps that already has a NASDAQ listing. That's according to an announcement earlier this year. And this isn't even the first drone company investment this year for Eric Trump, by the way. And it's just one example from the growing list of eyebrow-raising business ventures for Trump's sons, quietly capitalizing on massive deals with their father's administration. Financial Times reports this, quote, a shell company backed by Donald Trump Jr. and Eric Trump has agreed to merge with a critical minerals group that last year secured up to $1.6 billion in U.S. government support to mine tungsten in Kazakhstan. The brothers bought into construction group Skyline Builders in August, taking stakes through a special purpose vehicle run by a subsidiary of Dominari Securities. That's according to three people familiar with that deal. The size of their investment was not disclosed, end quote. Joining our coverage is Daniel Sherman. He is the president and CEO of Citizens for Responsibility and Ethics in Washington, joining me and Donald, Angelo, and Mara are still with us. Take me through what we even know about the conflicts and where conflicts and norm busting rub up against potential violations of law, Donald.
Well, what we know is that while regular folks are struggling with the rising cost of groceries, gas, and housing, as well as other everyday items, the Trumps have had the most lucrative year of their lives profiting off the presidency. We know they've made billions in the last 15 months. We know, according to reporting from Forbes, that last year was the most lucrative year of the president's life. But one of the gaps in the law as it stands right now is that the president's adult sons do not have to file financial disclosure statements, nor are they barred from engaging in foreign deals. And so there's a lot that the public does not know about how much money they're making, who they're in business with. This president, likes to call himself the president of peace, which leads, I think, a lot of us to wonder how come his sons keep finding ways to profit from war. But we really don't have a ton of details because they're not required to disclose a lot of information.
The portrait of Trump's sons and their business deals and the grift is amazing. And the timelines are pretty disturbing. They sync up not just to his reelection 15 months ago, but to the beginning of the war.
Well, it also raises the obvious question, which is, as the president is engaging in wars that have only detrimental impacts, not only on the people who we're dropping bombs on, but on America as a country, on our alliances, on our economy. What is motivating him to continue this behavior? What role does grift and corruption play in that? We really don't know because we don't have full disclosure into these deals. We don't have really any disclosure into these deals. It's also just doubly tragic that our tax dollars are going to this grift. I mean, the American people are being stolen from by the Trump family. They were supposed to come to drain the swamp. Instead, they are now acting as kleptocrats. And then to add more tragedy to that, this is going to warfare, to drop bombs on other countries in ways that, by the way, we've never had less transparency into how warfare is being waged by the United States. And I just think, back to the other segment that we had a few moments ago, once people in Trump's base have one point of concern, maybe something isn't right on the Epstein files, maybe they just They went to the gas pump and it was just too expensive. They start to pull a string and you start to see things differently. You start to ask questions about everything else. And I think that is why the base is unraveling. But I think the question then becomes, how do you actually build a small d democratic coalition to restore our nation's democracy, multiracial democracy, the norms that this president has blown through and destroyed with the aid of the Supreme Court, by the way, and a do-nothing Congress. So we have so much work to do. It's great that the coalition of Americans for whom this is no longer acceptable is growing. But the question is, how do you organize against a White House that is determined to siphon every bit of power for itself and its own benefit, and also now profit? I mean, we're getting, the Trump sons are getting these deals while Americans are losing health care. We're being told there's no money for health care. There's no money for child care, like in other Western countries. Women are dying because they don't have access to abortion anymore. And this is the priority.